WCBI News at 10 starts now.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Selena Schaefer. Some new information regarding the Amber Alert in Tennessee for 15-year-old Elizabeth Thomas. The wife of Tad Cummins, the suspect of the recent Amber Alert, pleaded for him to come back to Tennessee and release the 15-year-old with him during a recent press conference. Our CBS affiliate WTVF has the latest.
Are we ready? Well, good afternoon, everyone.
Yet another plea today from the TBI asking for help in the Amber Alert case involving 15-year-old Elizabeth Thomas and the man they say she's with, her teacher, Tad Cummins. But this time, the plea came from Cummins' wife, Jill.
Tad, this is not you. This is not who you are. We can help you get through this. No matter how far you've gone or what's happening right now, God's grace is sufficient for you, and He wants you to come home.
The TBI released these new photos of Cummins from a recent trip to Walmart before he left with Elizabeth, showing what he could look like today. The TBI says Cummins used his authority as a teacher to groom Elizabeth, and they say she's in imminent danger.
I guess the correct term is that he more or less overbore her will. You know, this is a 15-year-old child that's led a very difficult life.
The DA announced he'll be filing aggravated kidnapping charges against Cummins because they believe he's armed. The TBI says they've received a shockingly low number of tips in this Amber Alert, and they say there's a way you watching right now can help find her.
Well, most of us these days have social media networks, and to that end, the TBI has this graphic.
It's a graphic the TBI says they want to go viral, with everyone nationwide seeing these two faces and looking out for them.
Now, Cummins was added to the TBI's top 10 most wanted list. Warrants for his arrest have been issued on charges of both sexual contact with a minor and aggravated kidnapping. Well, it's now time to turn it over to weather for our first look with meteorologist Alex Puckett. Alex, it's a little bit warmer than we've been looking at.
It has been a little bit warmer and a nice evening across our area. We're starting off over the Alpha Insurance Skycam in Tupelo, where the barbecue fest was going on there. Things starting to wrap up now, but it was a nice evening for those of you who got out and enjoyed that. Temperatures right now starting to drop, though, into the 50s. Pretty much area-wide. 48 right now in Corinth. That's one of the colder spots. 54 in Amory. 52 here in the Friendly City. 50 in Starkville. Overnight tonight we'll be dropping down into the low 40s. I'll have details of what you can expect tomorrow coming up in just a few more minutes. Selena?
All right, thanks for the update there, Alex. Well, for many families, it's never easy saying goodbye to a family member being deployed for service, whether it be just for a few months or years. WCBI's Victoria Bailey spoke with a Winston County woman who has offered a helping hand to the families who are faced with the possibility of saying goodbye to their loved ones forever.
Meet Beth Hemphill. Now, she and her family are no stranger to military life.
We have a line that goes all the way back to the Revolutionary War.
She says the older generations in her family keep the interests of the military service alive.
Stories are passed down from generation to generation about the stories of wartime and stories of basic and everything that they've done in the military, what the sense was like for them. My youngest one really started at the age of 5, wanting to join the Marines and be a sharpshooter.
Hemphill started the group Military Moms Network, and she says after seeing so many family members leave for war, she wanted to help anyone experiencing it for the first time.
I know there's a lot of moms out there who don't know what to expect when their children go into the military, and they don't really know what to expect when they're deployed.
I just love my country and everything, and I wanted to show that in a way that everybody else could see it, especially my younger brother.
Ethan Ferguson is prepared to leave for basic training, and he says he is thankful for the Military Moms Network for the sake of his family.
It could let them know that they've got help back here at home that can help them go through while I'm gone, and let them know what I'm going through up there.
With us going through the same thing together, it helps to have other families who are going through the military process of their kids leaving and going to the basic trainings and getting deployed and everything, that others will be there to help them and be able to say, I understand what you're going through.
Now, military moms meet once a month. For more information, you can visit our website at WCBI.com. Well, the Golden Triangle Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta wants to help you to be your best self. Saturday morning in Starkville, the historically African-American sorority hosted a health fair. Several dozen vendors were on hand at the Starkville Sportsplex. Vendors were offering free screenings for both blood pressure and diabetes. There was also a health education information as well and numerous health and wellness resources. Well, Caledonia man says that he was tired of traveling across the South competing in auto shows, so Ben Kilgore decided to bring one home, literally to his front door. Auto enthusiasts from across the state and parts of Alabama were in Caledonia today at Ben Kilgore's home. His 15 acres showcased 27 unique cars. The drivers were competing in a no frills, no fuss, and no shine auto show. In fact, those were the rules in the area's first ever Rat Royd auto show.
Rat Rod is just anything somebody wants to put together that's not a shiny car, and it can be made out of anything. As you walk around today, you'll see a variety of engines, a variety of paint or schemes, and just whatever somebody comes up with.
Kilgore hopes this is the first of what will become an annual event. Well, barbecue competitors from all over the country, have descended onto Tupelo this weekend with the goal of making good impressions on the judges as this year's barbecue duel takes off. WCBI's Chad Groening has a recap on Saturday's events.
It is almost impossible not to smell the wonderful aroma of barbecue at Tupelo's Fair Park this weekend. 80 teams from 23 states are competing for big prize money at the 7th annual barbecue duel, which benefits the Link Center. On Saturday, there were actually two competitions. One was certified judges, which we will discuss in a moment, and the other the People's Choice, in which Kathy Peterson of Tupelo participated.
That was good and sweet.
You like it?
Mm-hmm, that's very good.
Are there differences in them and everything like that?
Oh yeah, this one is a little salty tasting. It's kind of got a little more of a vinegar taste to it, and this one's got a more sweet flavor. It's delicious.
Yeah.
Depends on what you like.
As an officially sanctioned Kansas City Barbecue Society event, there are specific things that judges are trained to look for as far as taste, texture, and overall presentation of the meat.
First, you have to go to a certification process, which is a day-long testing. They teach you how to become a judge, what to look for, what to taste for, and then how to score the contestants' product as they bring it into the tasting.
And the teams know just what they have to do to impress the judges. Mark West is the pit boss for Tupelo's Star Boars team, affiliated with Romy's Restaurant.
I think it starts with our dry rubs and our sauces. We won first place sauce in the World Championship Memphis and May before, so we've got just quality rubs and sauces. Nothing jumps out at you. Everything's consistent. It's sweet on the front end. You're going to get a little bite on the back, and that's what we like. To me, you got to have a little heat to balance out the sweet.
And while West and his team have been doing these events for years, a group of Tupelo High School students are making their debut in KCBS competition. The Young Hoggers barbecue team is led by 9th grader Zach Clemens. Tell us about what you guys have to do from the judge's standpoint in your barbecue preparation.
We got to make the boxes look good. We got to get all the fat off the meat and just make it look good, make it taste good.
How did you learn this thing at such a young age?
I've been standing beside my dad for the past forever, and I've just been learning from my dad.
His dad also competed this weekend, but left his son and fellow team members on their own. The Young Hoggers intend to be part of the barbecue duel for many years to come. Chad Groening, WCBI News, Tupelo.
Now the competition will wrap up at Fair Park tomorrow evening. Coming up after the break, we take a look at the life of who many refer to as the founder and father of rock and roll. Stay with us.
You're watching WCBI News at 10 with Selena Schaefer.
Welcome back. Chuck Berry, a music pioneer often called the father of rock and roll, was found dead Saturday at a residence outside St. Louis. Police in St. Charles County are referring to that as that, and he was also 90 years old. Here's a tribute to this rock and roller's ride to fame and glory, rather.
It's the mid-50s, and Chuck Berry was at the height of his success, pioneering a new sound, rock and roll. He had his own driving guitar style, fusing country western with rhythm and blues.
Go, 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 little
With his Gibson guitar and energetic moves, he pushed down racial barriers, playing to a mostly white teenage audience. Barry's hits, including Johnny Be Good and Sweet Little 16, didn't just thrill teenagers. They influenced rock's biggest acts. John Lennon once said, if you tried to give rock and roll another name, you might call it Chuck Berry. Berry grew up in St. Louis and was shaking things up even as a kid. During his first public performance at his high school, he played the blues, considered inappropriate for the time. But even as a teen, Berry would also begin his lifelong trouble with the law, serving 3 years for armed robbery. Berry married and worked a series of jobs to support his family. Then a road trip to Chicago to see his idol Muddy Waters proved to be his big break. Record executives heard Berry turn an old country and western number called Ida Red into the hit Maybelline.
One Maybelline, why can't you be true? The birth of rock and roll.
Disc jockey Alan Freed began touting Berry's new sound.
Alan Freed called it the beat. You gotta have the beat.
Then came more chart toppers, Roll Over Beethoven, and rock and roll music. And more trouble with the law. Federal authorities prosecuted Berry for transporting an underage girl across state lines. He served 1.5 years in prison. Berry returned to recording and kept on touring, showing off his famous duck walk, boosted in popularity by the Beatles, Rolling Stones, and Beach Boys, who were now singing his songs.
For another artist to choose one's material really is gratifying.
In 1979, he performed for President Jimmy Carter at the White House and even launched his music on the Voyager 1 satellite. Then, more prison time for tax evasion. In 1984, Berry took home the Lifetime Achievement Grammy. 2 years later, Keith Richards threw him a big 60th birthday bash.
Going round and round.
He was one of the first inductees into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And in 1995, Berry fired up the stage with Bruce Springsteen to celebrate rock history. Dubbed the Eternal Teenager, Berry continued touring well into his 80s, never letting go of that rock and roll music he helped define.
Johnny Be Good.
Danielle Nottingham, CBS News.
A nice and cool evening in store for us here in Mississippi. I'll have details on what you can expect over the next 7 days coming up on the other side of the break.
Alert weather forecast with meteorologist Alex Puckett.
Well, a nice start to our week next week when we kick off the week on Sunday. Going to be a bit warm too, particularly as we kick off spring on Monday, and we'll bring the chance for some showers and storms in once we get into the weekend. Got this time lapse in from our Alpha Insurance Skycam in Tupelo a little bit earlier as they are dealing with a nice barbecue festival down there, enjoying the nice weather here in Columbus. Things calm here just after the 10:50 hour here. So temperatures in the 50s area wide right now, 50 right now in the Friendly City, 53 in Amory, 54 in West Point, as well as Tupelo, 50 right now in Starkville, down in the 40s already in Corinth, sitting at 46. In the GTR, we'll be dropping down into the lower 40s tonight, 41 here in Columbus, and a nice, if not a little bit cool evening, but a nice day in store for Sunday. Again, starting off a bit cool in the morning, right around 43 by the time we hit the 8 a.m. hour, but warming up into the low 60s by the time you take your lunch break, topping out in the upper 60s in the afternoon. So here's where temperatures are going to top out city by city. 66 in Tupelo and Pontotoc, as well as New Albany, 64 in Boonville, 63 in Iuka, 68 in Houston, 67 both in Amory and in Aberdeen. Once you get into the Golden Triangle, upper 60s and a couple of lower 70s of the board as well. 68 in Columbus, 69 both in Starkville and in West Point, 71 in Louisville and Macon, 70 in Ackerman and in Eupora. West Alabama, upper 60s and lower 70s in the board there. 68 in Sulligent, 69 in Vernon, 68 also in Fayette, 69 Reform, 70 in Aliceville. So here's the future cast. Again, rain going to hold off for your Sunday and your Monday and most of the day on Tuesday. We'll bring the chance in for a few showers in once we get into the overnight hours on Tuesday and into Wednesday. So here's how the next 7 days are going to work out. We start that warming trend on Monday up into the upper 70s, maybe a couple 80s on the board for your Monday, and then again, that'll be our kickoff to spring. Then as we get into Tuesday, a really warm day in store. We're talking about Temperatures right around 80 as we'll top out right around 80 on Tuesday. And again, it'll be sunny through the afternoon, but we'll bring those rain chances in overnight into the day on Wednesday. A bit cooler on Wednesday as that cold front pushes through. Temperatures in the upper 60s there. And then as we get into Thursday, warming back up into the 70s. And then our next chance for storms coming in Friday into Saturday. We'll have to keep an eye